Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. As always, I'll be talking to an author whose book I have recently read and enjoyed. And my guest for today is author Chandrayan Gupta, who's coming on the show for the third time and with his third book, which is this one, Firaki. And we are going to talk about this book, his previous books a bit, his journey as an author, how he goes about the process of writing crime thrillers, and much more. So do stay connected. Okay, Chandran, I already here. Let me quickly invite him. You received it? Okay, great. Hey, hi.
Hi. Hi.
So, welcome back to the show. And sorry about the glitch. I don't know what happened. The app just stopped working and the video shut. Anyway,
Yeah, it happens.
welcome back to the show. And I was just telling everyone that we are going to talk about your latest crime thriller. Before we continue, you were telling us about yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm a psychological crime thriller writer, that's my main genre. I'm always looking to, write. Explore other genres also. My latest book is actually, I don't think it has a clean genre classification. I'm also a online freelance writer and lawyer.
Yeah.
And currently, I have three books out. I'm writing two more. I have ideas for two more. I haven't started writing them.
Oh, lovely. That's awesome. And yes, I have read your previous books also, and you know how much I love them. I mean, I've told you on multiple occasions how much I enjoyed them. In fact, the first book that I read, Mother Son, I also ended up putting it in my year-end wrap-up, calling it one of the standout reads of that year for me. And then the next
Thank
one
you.
also, Reason to Fight. I enjoyed it so much that when I was thinking about, giveaway prizes for the blog hop that I host, I was like, okay, this is a good title for everyone to read. It should be a great giveaway prize for the winners of that blog hop. So yeah, I enjoyed both those books. And now coming to this book, before we get into it, I'm quickly showing everyone the cover. Correct me if I'm wrong, but am I pronouncing it correctly? Firaki, right? It's not Firki.
Yeah.
Firaki,
No,
right?
Piraki. Yeah.
Yes.
It's an old-fashioned Bengali woman's name.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, yeah, a lot of West Bengal reference and setting in the story, entire story itself. In fact, a lot of language also is used, and you within brackets you have translated it for the people who don't understand Bengali, which I
Yeah.
really like. Local touch is always something that I like. So, yeah, it makes the story more rooted, more authentic for me. So a nice touch. So, and this is the cover of the book, and we see that there is a woman here who is at the railway platform, and that's what the entire story is about. She's about to board a train, and then the journey that she takes on the train, how it changes her life, and also the life of a co-passenger she's traveling with, what they discuss, how the revelations happen, and whether they are connected or not. That's all the story is all about. And one of the things that I find very interesting in your stories is that you always have a female protagonist at the center, which
Mm.
and that is something I find very fascinating because a lot of male authors are not able to get it correct, but you somehow manage to bring that aspect into your stories quite authentically. I don't know how you do it, but I am immediately able to see the woman clearly and somehow not exactly relate to her, but I think if I would have met that character in real life, I would have found them very intriguing. I would definitely have gone on and made a conversation with them. So you're doing the
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. There are already way too many male protagonists in the world, so I will and I love women. I love writing about women, and the thing I do differently, I feel, is that I don't approach it like I'm writing a woman. I approach it like I'm writing a human being,
Yeah.
and that distinction makes it more natural because I'm not thinking what would a woman do in this situation. I'm thinking what would this human being with this
Okay.
personality do in this situation.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's just how I approach it.
That's a very broad-minded and correct, I would say, the right way to go forward with writing any character, irrespective of their gender. So yeah, I am now quickly going to read out few passages from the book, and I'm going to stick to the first chapter itself because we don't want to give away too many spoilers. And the
Yeah.
book have kind of a lot of twists which you don't expect, which you don't see coming. So this is the first chapter. Tell me if I'm again pronouncing it correctly because I this is the first time I'm coming across this word. So is it moribund?
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it as well.
Yes. Okay. So this is the first chapter, moribund. And as you can see, I have highlighted so many words because this was also a vocabulary lesson for me, Chandrayan. So thank you. As always, you have managed to make me learn new words with your book.
Thank you.
And this is how it begins. February 7, 2024, 9:45. Didi, into brackets, ma'am, paused the choleric cabby, glaring into the rear view, framed within which is his absent passenger staring out the window, her expression blank, her posture slack. An hour ago, upon boarding his pristine white sedan, she had set her handbag on the seat, sighed, and begun gazing outside. It had taken 4 attempts to wake her from her profound reverie and extract from her the ride pin, which she had mumbled in a drab monotone. Then she had resumed her posture, unchanged for the remainder of the ride. And now, once again, after 2 attempts, she remains lifeless. The cabby, a balding quadrenarian with a cheating wife and a nicotine addiction, turns around with a scowl and examines the peculiar woman. Her eyes are heterochromatic, the right chestnut, the left almost silver, and while both are detached and distrait, neither bears the glazedness characteristic of inebriation. She has a snub nose and thin lips, chapped and cracked. Oval is her facial structure, sharp her jawline, a slight cleft in her chin. Her sleek black hair, flecked with the occasional grey, is tied back in a low knot, two loose strands falling over her left eye. Slotted into her ears, the cabby can spot no earbuds. She might be hearing impaired, but from her general demeanor, the cabby reckons her problem is psychological. Endeavoring to contain his temper, he calls out once more, and this time she starts, sitting up straight, eyes wide, breathing rapid. She looks out the windows, surprised to find herself here, then gazes at the rugged, impatient cabby, parting her lips, sealing them again. Finally, her bushy brows settle in a businesslike frown. She unzips her black and gold handbag and excavates a 500 note. Groaning, the cabby produces his own tattered black wallet and glances inside. Now, I don't know how to read this Bengali version, so I'm going to read out English one. No one
Okay.
gives cash anymore, he rasped, scowling as he sifts through soiled notes. The woman says nothing. She's old fashioned, prefers tangible money, real money, money she can touch, can trust. She frequently feels antiquated, left behind, a dinosaur in a digital world. At length, the cabby holds out his hand, offering her multiple dank, disgusting notes. Managing a grateful smile, the woman makes the exchange. Thank, she begins. But just then, a niggling irritation in her arid throat balloons into a knot, inducing a violent coughing fit, and she leans forward and covers her mouth, tears in her eyes. You need water, ma'am? Asks the cabby, struck by a sudden stab of sympathy. Nah, the woman replies after a moment, clearing her throat, composing herself. No, it's fine. Her voice deep and mellifluous, sounds strangled. Her accent is posh Kolkatan. A syl- the syllables rounded, well enunciated. She's clad in a white kurti with a curious charcoal design pattern the cabby cannot recognize, along with jeans and white jutis. Now, where she has dropped the person is very obvious because we know she's catching a train. We already know from
Hmm.
what I've said before and from the cover also. So the cabbie has just dropped at her at the railway station and she's about to catch a train. And now we know what she looks like, what she's wearing, and also that she has some psychological problem which is making her probably hearing impaired.
Yeah, she's so distant, she's not in this world anymore,
Yes,
basically.
yes. And then why is she taking this ride? Where is she going? What happens with her co-passenger? that's what you have to go and find out. I've read out the first part. Now go check out what happens ahead. Okay. So, based on my reading, Chandrayan, I had a couple of questions for you, if you would be kind enough to answer those.
Yeah.
Okay. So, my first question to you is the story keeps the readers intrigued until the very last line. I mean, I was waiting to know what actually happens till the, and you've not literally revealed it at the last sentence. So, not even the last sentence, it's actually the last word, I should say. So,
Yeah.
tell us about that. How did you structure the plot to maintain this suspense throughout and in such a compact narrative? And how did you determine what the reader should know and when? There's a follow up question, but let's go one by one.
So, for me, the question is always, how do I do this the most naturally?
Hmm.
So, I don't like encyclopedic info dumps. I like to reveal the backstory through dialogue and, if possible, dream sequences. And someone says something, and then the person starts remembering that way. So for me, it was always clear that this was going to be a first person present tense continuous narrative. If this, I was imagining if this were a movie, this would be a one take movie that continues in
Oh,
one continuous shot from the beginning to the end. And if you read the story, there are no breaks as such. So
yes.
it is like that. So in the course of a conversation, you never reveal everything at once. You know, you don't dump your entire life story to the other person at once. You begin slowly and see what the other person's tolerance is, and you
Hmm.
just drop little nuggets from your story, and then the other person asks about it, and then you uh, expand on it, and that's how it goes. So structurally, this was extremely simple for me. This was always going to be just a conversation between two people that was going to change their lives,
Hmm.
and it was never going to happen in the form of flashbacks or anything like that. So you just you a natural conversation is always going to be slow and
Yeah.
methodical, and it's the full story is not going to be revealed until the person stops speaking at the end. So
Right.
that was how I approached it, and I'm always a fan of taking it to the absolute final line if I can. I did it with Mother Son too, if I remember
Yes.
correctly.
Yes, you did.
Uh, yeah, so uh, the the flip side of this, and I'm going to be completely honest up front, if you're revealing something in the final line, the entire story is revealed in the final line, it's going to be an ambiguous ending, and I don't want to short. I mean, people are a little put off by this, but I want to be upfront. This is an ambiguous ending. You can draw your own In fact, the first person I said this story to found an interpretation that I hadn't considered.
Oh,
So,
oh,
so
interesting. I'm going to ask about
yes,
that separately to you because probably I would also have a different interpretation from what they had. So this is very
yeah.
interesting. Okay, and a follow-up question to that is, at what stage of writing did you decide on the final twist or revelation that closes this particular story?
This was always, um, I wouldn't say always planned from the beginning, because for this one I did something a little different. Not in terms of the story itself, but in terms of planning it. I'm always a very unorganized planner, so I have multiple notebooks where I write snatches of the story, and then I have to find where all the notebooks are, and then I forget character names and developments. So this time I drew a little, I don't know how to put this, a little storyboard,
Hmm.
and I stuck sticky notes and created a visual timeline. And as I was doing it on that day, or that evening rather, as I was writing everything, I still hadn't finalized the story. So for me, it always begins with an idea, if possible. I mean, sometimes I have an ending in mind, sometimes I don't. This time I didn't.
Hmm.
So as I was planning it and was immersed in that moment, I mean, imagining I was on that train. So it just came to me. And on that very evening, I decided this is how it's going to end. And then writing it became so much easier.
Uh, had you already begun writing the story by then, or were you just figuring it out?
No, I was just figuring it out because I'd been sitting with this for weeks. So
Yeah.
that evening was the time I finally put it all together.
Okay, and that's when you started writing. Okay, for because for me, sometimes what happens is I do know some parts of the story, but once I start
Yeah,
writing, some bits change also. I mean,
yeah, that happened.
yeah. Okay. This brings me to my second question. I found the setting of this book very interesting. You have chosen train journeys, and the entire story happens between these two people who are riding a train together. So, train journeys often feel routine and mundane. What made you choose this setting for a story filled with psychological tension and revelation?
So I just said that I had been sitting with this for weeks, but I've been sitting with a concrete idea for weeks. For years, the idea of a train journey is very, not in the, movie sexual sense, but train journeys for me are very romantic
Hmm.
in that you're going to be in an enclosed space with someone else for a certain amount of time. You don't know who your co-passenger is going to be, what they're like, and you might form a long-lasting bond during those few hours on the train. That's happened to me before. So I've always been, uh, a fan of the idea that you get on a train, you meet someone, and they change your entire life. And uh, in 2023, I think I read a book by Dr. Omkar Bhatkar. I don't remember the exact book, but in it, he also wrote about two men who are co-passengers on a bus, I think, and they also it's a different story, different kind of different genre entirely, but the central idea was the same as what I'd been mulling over. That you meet someone and they change your entire life in one journey,
Okay.
and that was the final spark for me. So I mean, from then I started to think about how can I make this happen? What
Okay.
kind of story is this going to be?
Okay.
So it was either going to be a romantic story, and I mean, I'm not a big fan of purely romantic stories.
Okay.
So, if romance happens as a byproduct of the mystery and suspense and everything, that's good. But writing a romance for the sake of writing a romance is for me, it's not for me. Not judging it, it's not for me. So it was either going to be a romantic story or it was going to be this person is important to the protagonist somehow, and they are going to unearth a lot of conspiracies about this person's past during their train ride. So I chose the latter and went with it.
Okay. I do have a follow-up question to that. I was
Yeah.
also intrigued by one particular chapter where you have shown a dream sequence. There's a lot of
Yeah.
symbolism and metaphors in this particular chapter. So take us through the intent and inspiration behind that particular chapter.
So believe it or not, that those two, I think those were three back-to-back chapters or two or three back-to-back chapters, and believe it or not, I didn't plan those at all.
Oh,
I not didn't plan them at all, but I didn't plan the specifics at all. I just thought this was going to be a dream, and the co-passenger is going to, I mean, not to spoil anything, but they're going to get a good idea about who this other person is in the dream.
okay.
But I didn't plan on the specifics of the dream until I started writing it because I mean, books are so when you have to plan a story, that's different. You have to structure it,
Hmm.
and in that and for that, you do have to plan it because if you don't structure it well, it might seem messy and
Yeah.
whatnot. But a dream sequence is inherently creative.
Yeah.
It's a dream sequence which is full of metaphors and allegories is not something I wanted to plan from before because I just thought if I'm in that moment, I'll know what's right and I'll write it. So I didn't want to plan the dream. So I just started writing it, and the only bit of it I'll give away is that the train was barreling over a floor of lava,
Hmm.
and I wrote that, and it was just instant for me. This has to be a floor of lava. And after I finished writing it, I asked myself, why does this have to be a floor of lava? Why not something else? And my brain immediately answered that floor of lava represents both Firaki's past and the revelation she is barreling toward. Because you'll notice when the final revelations do happen, the train starts barreling downward, and that was for me that okay, that's the moment where she's heading toward mental destruction, possibly.
Hmm.
So that's why for me, I thought that this has to be a floor of lava, but I hadn't really thought about it while I was writing it. It was
Okay.
after I wrote it that I thought, why is this happening? Why do I want this?
Yeah. So it was kind of you were totally immersed in it during the moment of writing it, and that probably
Yeah,
it was a subconscious choice, and you yourself realized it later why you chose it. Interesting.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. And there's also this. It would be a spoiler, but I do want to ask this. In all of your stories, I've observed this, the ones that I have read, there's a lot of childhood trauma involved. And that
yeah.
forms a lot of, the kind of growth that that person undergoes in their formative years and later in their adult life also. So, is there a particular reason that you choose this trope in your thrillers?
Yeah, because that's what happens in real life. Because people, I mean, rare is the person who has a completely normal childhood. And the person who has a completely normal childhood feels inadequate. I mean, not inadequate. They feel bored because, oh my God, I have Jeffrey Dahmer, I believe, had a completely or some main serial American serial killer had a completely normal childhood, and yet he turned out to be a serial killer. And I was I don't know if it's true, but I was theorizing that it's so perfect his childhood, he just got bored. And maybe I don't know. So, every people always have things in their childhood they don't want to talk about, and that affects them as adults. Your entire adult life, you're dealing with things as you experienced as a child, and
Mhm.
so if you saw someone behaving a certain way, your entire adult life, I'm not going to behave that way. I'm going to be different.
Mhm.
Or if something bad happened to you, then you might repress the memories and then grow up to be angry and aggressive because you're not dealing with your emotions. So it happens in real life. I've observed this multiple times with multiple people. So it's always a very fundamental part of any character, what happens in their childhood, because your childhood makes you who you are as an adult.
Yes, and there's another thing that I've observed about your characters, which is that you make it very difficult for the readers to root for any of them. They are all very problematic, to be honest.
Yes.
Is that intentional?
Oh yes, very intentional. I,
And
I don't I don't like completely good or completely bad characters. So I
Characters are not even like they're very much bordering towards the black area. They are not even in gray.
yes. So uh, I don't know if you've heard of him, but there's this spy thriller writer who, I mean, when he died in 2020 or 2021, that was one of the few times I've been genuinely sad by a celebrity death. John le Carre.
Okay.
Uh, he was a spy writer, and in his books, um, I mean, read The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. That's always my recommended starting point. None of the characters is completely good or completely. It's all. I mean, all of them are gray, and I have a. If a character does not have multiple layers and some of them are good, some of them are bad, I mean that's just boring. So I always like to write characters where you can see some of yourself in them, but some of what you absolutely rebel against in them. And the choice is, I mean, I leave the choice up to the character, to the reader, decide whom you want to root for. So that's always how I approach writing characters.
Okay. And has anyone ever come back and told you that they actually rooted for someone? This is something I want to know.
Yes. So my two cleanest characters are Aditya Gokhale and Radha Bose in Reason to Fight, and I always get comments that these two are. I wouldn't say. I mean, they always say these two have deep-rooted issues of their own, but they are also quite human and sympathetic, and it makes you want to root for them even when you can see that they're not being completely rational.
Yeah.
So that's the closest I've come to hearing that someone is fully rooting for any of my characters.
Yeah, I am. Now that you say it, yes. I think Radha was the only one who I was like, yeah, this is someone I can root for. The others, not so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, that's by design. I don't like completely one-note characters.
Yeah. Okay. That brings me to the end of the questions I had for you. Now the floor is yours. You have also read my latest title.
Yeah.
Take-
So your latest book is called "My Jeans Fit Well and the Ice Cream Didn't Melt: The Illustrated Life of a Goofy Writer." There it
Yes.
is. And I mean, when I read the premise of the book, I was quite impressed. It's everyday things that happen to you, I believe, are the main character of this book. And everyday things happen to you, and when they're good or when they make you feel good or make you feel positive or it's heartwarming, uh, you write those incidents out beginning with every letter of the alphabet. So there are incidents that happen to you starting with A, starting with B, C, and so on. And the premise was actually so intriguing that I really wanted to read it. And I mean, I was really impressed with it as well.
Thank you.
Uh, it's shorter than I thought it would be, which is, it's really compact. I finished it in one sitting,
Oh
believe
wow.
it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to keep reading, and keep reading, and kept going. So I also wanted to ask you some questions about the book.
Would
So
you like to read out
uh,
the nuggets first? The ones that you stood out to you.
yeah, so there's one starting with A.
Hmm.
Uh, on Kindle, it's page 8,
Okay.
and
Unexpected smile from a total stranger.
yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, so the story goes, an unexpected smile from a total stranger. in brackets, and them not turning out to be creepy. And in the illustration in the dialogue box, well, at least he's looking at my eyes instead of looking at my face.
Hello.
Smiling over a joke I cracked hours ago, but okay, I'll take that smile, mister. And these are basically the kind of playful yet positive and heartwarming stories that are in there. There's one starting with G, page 50 on Kindle.
Okay. Just a minute. 48, 49, and oh, gender bending plots. Genre
Yeah,
plots, yes.
yeah, genre bending plots, bracket in the book I'm currently reading, with the kind of twists and narratives that make me sit up and text someone. And in the this is an illustration that has six boxes, and
Yes.
it shows your character reading the story, and it goes, the only thing predictable about this story is how unpredictable it is. Another goes, this started as a slow burn romance, and now there's a character that's not from this era. And the final is the villain is also the hero, and the love interest is a time traveling librarian. Okay, I didn't sign up for this, but I totally vibe with the chaos building here. And the text underneath goes, books making me look like I'm in an Indian daily soap. No regrets. I've seen Indian daily soaps, and those are quite, I mean, the reactions they give.
Yeah.
And the final one I wanted to read out was in page number 73, starting with K.
Okay. Give me a minute. 73 is. Yes, found it. Oh, interesting. Kickstarting a new project.
Yeah, kickstarting a new project, new ideas, and endless possibilities. And in the text box, it's is this angst or art? Either way, I have a feeling that this is it. This is the one that wins me the Pulitzer, or at least a mildly impressed nice from the readers who've been unimpressed so far. And below the graphic, it says the actual plot twist would be sticking to the idea and finishing this on time, which is something I struggle with a lot too. So,
Thank you so much for reading those out. Yes, I'm sure you also have your set of questions for me.
yeah, so reading this, I mean, I just wanted, even before I started reading this, I had this question in my mind, which is, how did you come across the idea of the book, and how did you work out the exact format that it would start with each letter of the alphabet? How did you work that out?
This was the book has happened in a lot of different stages and through many years. So the actual idea came to me somewhere in 2020, 21, and that's when I started compiling the nuggets. So these nuggets actually started out as social media posts, which I used to put out once a week or bi-weekly on my social media handles with the hashtag silly things that make me happy. So I used to talk about things from my everyday life that, something that happened which was very silly, but it made changed my mood. Maybe I was in a bad mood and it helped elevate my mood, or maybe I was feeling down or physically feeling unwell and something happened which made me instantly feel better. And then the day took a different turn, something like that. So I used to put those out, hashtag silly things that make me happy, and those were received very very well. And at that point in my life, I already had four books out in different genres. And ever since I wrote my first book, one goal was always clear in my head, that I want to be a multi-genre author. So I did have a plan to have a non-fiction book out someday. And when these posts started getting, very well received on social media, it gave me a thought that this could be an idea where I can, convert this into something that my first non-fiction book could be around. So whenever I used to put out those social media posts, I started compiling them. There some I put out, some I just started compiling, and by the end of 6 or 7 months, I had about 50 nuggets already. At that
Wow.
time also, I had the idea clear in my head that if I do go ahead with publishing a book like this, the nuggets would have to be accompanied by an illustration, because I would have to explain what those nuggets were about. I would have to take some instance from my life where this particular nugget came to me as an epiphany of sorts. So and I would have to show it in a particular scene around my life, as to who I'm interacting with or what I'm doing, as to that particular nugget to have occurred to me. So that idea was clear in my head. But around the same time, something happened around my social media platforms. I lost two of my Instagram accounts back to back, and losing those accounts made me lose confidence in this particular content also. So I gave up on it. 2000, mid of 2021, I wrapped up the idea. The nuggets were lying somewhere in my drafts folder in the laptop, and I had completely forgotten about them. And then coming to 2024, it's late of 2024, I was interacting with somebody on this show itself, on the author collaborative. A guest had come and they asked me, is there any particular book idea that you feel you want to work on but haven't yet got to? And immediately, I didn't even take 1 second to think about this particular book, because the idea was something that I was very keen to work on at that time. And then I gave it up. So I was like, yeah, this is something that I want to go back to, but I just don't have the motivation or inspiration to go back to it. And that particular episode made me realize that no, I can't give up on this idea, because it was something I was once very excited about and it looked very promising. So I at after that conversation, I went back to my drafts folder. I looked at the nuggets. 50 of them were already staring at my face. And fortunately, when I looked at those nuggets, around that time, I was also planning to participate in a writing challenge which was coming up. So the conversation happened with the guest in somewhere in October or November. And a few months post that, I was part of a writing challenge which is called the A to Z writing challenge, blogging challenge, in which whoever is participating, they have to write from one particular letter of the English alphabet every day. So I
Oh,
already
okay.
had the thought in my head that I want to start reworking on this particular concept. So in that particular challenge, I took up the idea, and then that's how it became an alphabetical thing. So from A to Z, because I was participating in that challenge, I took up 5 nuggets from each particular letter of the English alphabet, and then I elaborated on those, expanding on each particular letter from the alphabet. So A is for this, B is for this, C for this, and that's how the book is also A to Z format.
So this has been in the works for years then.
Yes. So yeah, about 5 years it took, I think, because in between I gave up on it, but yes. And uh, then the illustrations also, by the time I started reworking on it, AI had completely taken over our lives, at least
Yeah.
in terms of content creation. So that became easier for me, because initially I had thought I would hire an illustrator to do this. I was still open to it, but there were two, three impediments that were coming in the way. One was definitely, the biggest impediment was that it would be a very investment heavy thing to have an illustrator, because this was not a one illustration book. I would have to have at least 150 illustrations, and they would charge me for per illustration, right? And as an indie author, I didn't feel it was like something I could afford. So I gave up on that. And also the timeline. I wanted the illustrations to be done within 2, 3 months. And no illustrator would be ready to take on a project where they would have to, you know, deliver in such short notice. So those
Mm.
were the reasons that I was like, no, maybe since we are in the AI world, I should, try it out. And when I tried out the first illustration on Gemini, it gave me a result that I was very satisfied with. So I started experimenting. It was from then on, it was a trial and error thing on Gemini.
Okay. So this is also another question that I wanted to ask you from the very first book of yours that I read, because this is also your third book of yours that I've read. And You always have a score in the acknowledgement, the related to you, somehow related to your husband. So, I mean, if it's not too personal, what is that score? And has your husband really never read your work, like you say in the acknowledgements every time?
He really hasn't read any of my books. So the score is the number of books that I have written, which is now 11, and his score, if I think it is 2.5, I think. I don't remember. Let me just quickly check. I think by this book it is 2.5. So that's the number of books that he has read of mine till now. I have written 11.
Uh,
Out of those, he has read only 2.5. That's the score that we are maintaining.
so, I mean, why?
Because you have no idea. This particular page has now a separate fan base. If I don't put it, people will be like, "What happened? Is everything okay?"
No,
So
I mean the why as in why doesn't he read your
So yeah, his justification is that it's not that you write bad; it's that I don't read at all. Which is also true because in the 10
Ah.
years that I have known him, he has not read anything. Not just my books; he doesn't read books at all. He reads newspapers and all that, but nothing in fiction or non-fiction books. Never.
Yeah, that makes sense then because my mother has also she's has I mean she loves me more than life itself, but she has never read any of my books because she says that every time she tries to, she has to sit with a dictionary and just start
Oh.
looking up words, and it takes too long.
Yeah. So yeah, I think our family and friends keep us humble that way. I feel.
Yeah,
ज्यादा उड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है हम ही नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं तो या
yeah.
so that's why I keep the score and that's why the dedication page because that's the only chance I get to roast him and to guilt trip him into reading at least something that I write. So
Yeah, it makes sense that that would have a separate fan base because I started looking for it this time. Have you done it again in your acknowledgements?
yeah, I think that's about it for the long form questions. We'll move to the rapid fire round now, shall we?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, so how we'll do this, Chandrayan, is we'll go back and forth. One question I ask, one question you ask. All right?
Okay.
Yeah. So my first question to you is, if you were riding the train with Firaki and Dheer, which co-passenger would you be? You have to choose besides Firaki and Dheer, any character. There were a multiple array of characters they were traveling with. So pick any one character from those and tell us why you choose them.
So I think on a spiritual level, I would be I mean, not spiritual, but I'm forgetting the exact word for it. Most relatable level. I'd be the old man who tripped and fell on the train because I get very clumsy on trains as well. But the person I would like to be, most like to be, is the person sitting right behind them, which is, oh, wait, that is also a character.
Yes, there
The
is.
person sitting behind them having a phone call with his, oh, yes. I forget my books about 5 minutes after I've written them completely. So then the two people sitting uh,
Across from them.
laterally
Yeah.
opposite them.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I think I would be the passenger who is constantly doing like this. So
yeah.
especially to
Yeah,
the
now that
people who
I
are talking on the phone and they are shouting at their kid for not scoring well in their examinations or something like that, and
yeah.
somebody's already doing.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I've written uh, actions or dialogue for a multitude of
Yes,
passengers on this
exactly.
train.
That's why I wanted to know your take and wanted to understand what character you would be if you were traveling on the train in that particular coach.
Yeah. Okay. So my questions for you are more. I mean, I want to know more what kind of person you are than your specific book. So I wanted to know first of all, you reference sweets multiple times in this book. Your love for sweet food. So, what is your favorite sweet?
If I say ice cream, it would be too cliche and predictable. So I am going to go with chocolates because ice
Any
cream is always
specific
good.
type?
Uh, no, but I do. After moving to Europe and eating the chocolates here, I've come to realize that I like Indian chocolates more because
Oh, okay.
uh, I do think that we make chocolates better than them. Unless they are Swiss chocolates, they are a little better, but yeah, not otherwise. Otherwise, I think Indian Cadbury is the best. Nothing is it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. My next question to you is if the female leads from your three books were to cross paths, there's Lippy, there's Radha, and there is Firaki. So, what do you think they would say to each other or ask each other?
I don't think they'd say anything to each other. Lippy would be too immersed in her work. Firaki would be too depressed to say anything. Radha would just look at them and try to figure out their life story because she's a detective. And then she would go back and pitch to Aditya about them.
Yeah.
That's what I think would happen.
Yeah. Lippy is actually too self absorbed to, notice anything about the other two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Got it. Yes.
so what is a recent movie that you loved watching?
So I watched this movie. I'm forgetting the actor's name, but lovely movie. And he's a very popular actor also. How come I'm forgetting? But there's a movie, Rental Family. It's based in Japan, and
Okay.
yeah, it's about people who hire other people to pose as their friends or family in order to, sort out problems in their lives or
Oh.
fill a gap in their life that they feel is missing. It's
Okay,
very,
what's
very
the name?
Rental Family.
Okay, that's a fascinating premise. Okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah, it's a lovely movie. Very heartfelt, very nice. So, yeah. Okay. That brings me to my next question, which is if you could add one more scene to Firaki with a different setting, where would it happen and how would it unfold?
I mean, I can't give you the actual answer because the actual answer is after she gets off the train and at her father's home. I mean, that would give away the entire thing. So I'm going to say before before getting on the train when she woke up. When
Hmm.
she woke up, I imagine that actually no, not the day. The scene when she learns that her mother has just died
Okay.
because uh, the I mean one of the reasons she is contemplating suicide is that her mother has also now just died as well from a sudden heart attack, I believe.
Hmm.
So I want to know what happened when she got that call from her father. I think she would jump with joy, but I don't think that would happen. I like to think that she would burst firecrackers and throw a party, but no, that wouldn't happen. So it would probably be more emotional. So
Yeah.
that's the scene I'd like to learn about.
Yeah, interesting. I would also like to know because in one of the scenes, she does confess that, she thought that hearing about it, she had always believed that hearing about the news of her mother's death would finally make her feel free. But when it actually happens, she doesn't feel like that. Yeah.
You rarely do.
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
So you have referenced songs in this book also. You reference songs in all your books. So, I'm not going to ask your favorite song because I'm sure there will be many answers, not just one. So, is there any song that you are currently listening to on loop? And if so, which one?
I think a lot of the songs from the 17 and 80s, which have been recreated for Dhurandhar, I'm listening to on loop. Like Ramba Ho 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 is of course there. Then there is Hawa Hawa, which also I'm listening to on loop. I'm currently these are the two songs that I am like, okay, I'm kind of getting obsessed now. I have to move on. Like today, right before today's episode, about an hour before, I was listening to Hawa Hawa. So
I've heard of both these songs. I think I've listened to them also on the radio sometime.
yeah.
They have been recreated for a movie called Dhurandhar. What is Dhurandhar about?
So Dhurandhar is an action spy thriller movie. Uh,
Oh, nice.
and it has Ranveer.
Interesting.
In fact, it was one of the most successful movies of the previous year. Box office hit. I think it made
Okay.
around 15 on 1,500 crores if I'm correct, recalling correctly. I could be wrong, but yes,
Okay.
it was a box office success, definitely.
Okay.
And since it is placed in during that era, a lot of the songs have been used.
Okay.
So okay, yes, your my turn, I think. Yes. My next question to you is now I have the last two questions. In the last two questions, I have mashed up our two books. So you will have questions where Fit Melt and Firaki are meeting. So first question in that segment is suppose Firaki opened her bag during the train ride and she found a copy of Fit Melt in her bag. Which nugget might make her reconsider her life choices?
I think the last one that I read, kickstarting a new project, new ideas and endless possibilities, because she feels that her life has closed, that there's no reason for her to keep going on.
Hmm.
And if she does find a new reason within the next 24 hours, then she will reconsider it. And I think reading that particular nugget would give her the impetus to start looking for
Hmm.
reasons to hold on.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I was under the impression you might choose something else. I mean, I wasn't sure you what you would choose, but this was not the expected response. But I like it. You surprised me there. Okay, your
I
turn.
like surprising people.
I can see. Yes.
Okay, so this is, I think, the most book-related question I had for you, which is name three authors, they can be Indian, foreign, whatever, you think are underrated.
Underrated authors. So I always try to answer this in a manner which doesn't make my author friends feel like I'm not justifying them. Also, and also because I'm an indie author myself, so I know what the kind of struggles we go through to reach a wider audience. So I'm going to stick to an answer which satisfies everyone and also myself, which is any book that I rate above 4 you must check
Okay.
out. They're all underrated because I am somebody who has been on a mission to read as many indie and self-published authors for the past 6 years now. And
Yeah,
so if I am rating a book above 4, you definitely must check out their book because they are 90% of the time they would be an indie author and somebody who's not as popular as other authors. So check out for my recommendations and book reviews and you'll also always find an underrated author.
that is the best response you could have given.
Okay, my next question to you, and the last one. If the following characters from Firaki had to add one entry to Fitmel's list of everyday joys, what would it be? The first option is Firaki.
Hmm, Firaki. I think Firaki would really love the feeling of imparting knowledge to her students because she is a history professor and professors love imparting knowledge to their students, making them feel interested, enriching their lives in a certain way. So I think Firaki's entry would be when a student listens to me with rapt attention throughout the lecture, or
Hmm.
when a student comes up to me after class and gives me a compliment,
Oh,
something like that.
nice. Nice. Okay. The next one I had here is Dheer.
Here is trickier. Here is much trickier. Um, I think. I think Dheer would, Dheer is more, okay, no, I can't give the answer I was thinking of giving. That would be a complete spoiler. Okay, then Dheer would say,
Can I
uh,
help? Can I help?
yes.
Yes, so I think Dheer would be happy if somebody just believed what he was saying.
Yes, that's also true because, yes, that is very true. Also, Dheer would love new beginnings
Yeah,
because, I mean, a new beginning is a huge part of his character development.
yeah.
So I think he would also love new beginnings.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, next character. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but their father, Mayuk. Is it the correct pronunciation?
Yes, love, Mayuk would love love. I think Mayuk would love the idea, the feeling of meeting someone new and falling in love with them.
Yeah. Finding the right person, I think, probably.
Yeah,
After the kind of experience he has had with love, I think finding a right person to love and be loved by.
yes.
Okay, and the last character I have here is Firaki's mother.
Firaki's mother, I have no clue. Firaki's mother, the only recreational activity that I think she really, really genuinely enjoys is cooking a new dish, which is
Hmm.
something that I love as well. Well, I mean, I try to not cook in the summer because, I mean,
Yeah.
summers in India, in Kolkata in particular, are so humid, I start sweating in the kitchen. So whenever I do make something, it's always. I think the last thing I made was Mughlai parathas.
Oh,
I think.
wow. Hmm.
Yeah, the first time I made it was with paneer. The second time with chicken,
Hmm.
and the feeling of uh, the other people in the house eating it and liking it. At least they said they liked it. I don't know what their real feelings were. So uh, that's I always try to insert a bit of myself in all my characters. So I
Okay,
gave her that trait.
nice. Okay. I think it's your last question now.
Yeah. So uh, completely random. What are your favorite pizza toppings?
Oh, wow. Interesting. Uh, Pesto for one, sure. Paprika, which is what in India what we called capsicum. Uh, Ketchup, definitely, and melted cheese. How many did I say? And how many did you ask?
For I
So,
just open-ended favorite pizza toppings. There can be an infinite number of toppings.
yeah, mixed veggies is always anytime a great combo for me. So yes, and pesto and ketchup over it, and melted cheese. Any kind of assorted vegetables and melted cheese and ketchup and pesto.
So what is the pizza situation where you live? Do they have Pizza Hut, Domino's, those big
We
chains?
don't have Pizza Hut. We do have Domino's. So yeah, I like Domino's pizza now. In India, I prefer Pizza Hut. Or in fact, I in India, if I'm there, I actually like the local restaurants that make the pizza. The pan
Hmm.
pizza that Indian restaurants make, they are the best. I feel.
Okay.
Yeah, which is hard to get here, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay, I think that's the end of the rapid fire, and now we come to the last segment of the today's episode, where we will be playing a little game. This is the Fitmelt Bingo that I'm going to play with you. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and you just have to answer in yes or no. They are inspired by the nuggets that you have read about in the book Fitmelt.
Okay.
Okay, first one: witnessed a perfect sunset in the last 7 days.
Last 7 days, no.
No. Okay. Own a pair of jeans that fits just right.
I'm wearing them right now.
Super. Okay, next one. Ate ice cream before it melted.
Yes.
Okay. Next one. Nailed a witty comeback at the right time.
Oh, I'm not sure I do. I mean, I do. No, I take time to come up with comebacks. But yes, actually, there are certain people around whom I'm just on all the time. I just love making fun of them, not in a mean way, but pulling
Yeah.
their leg. So I'm sure with those people, I have.
Okay. Great. Next one. Went on a peaceful walk alone.
Oh, every day,
Oh,
every evening. I
nice.
walk for 1 hour every evening.
Okay. Oh, nice. Next one. Got lost in a great book.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm,
Oh,
the last book where this, most recent book where this happened was yours, actually, where I said I read it in one sitting. And I started it and just
are
kept
you looking
reading it.
at this? Are you looking at this? Because you are the first guest to say this. Because when I ask this question and people say yes, I'm like, you should have said my book also. I mean, if you're saying yes, just say my book.
Yeah, so yours is the most recent because I read it in one afternoon to evening, and the one before that is actually I'm read so Dan Brown has a new book out called The
Yes.
Secret of Secrets, and
Yes.
I'm doing a thing where I'm starting from the very beginning and reading them all in order because I've forgotten a
Oh,
lot.
okay.
So so I'm rereading the Da Vinci Code, which I hated the first time and strongly disliked the second time. But this time, somehow I'm feeling like this is vastly, my perspective on it is vastly improved.
Okay. Interesting. I would like to know your take on the third read. Do you still dislike the book? What is your perspective now? Oh, I would like to know that.
On
Oh,
the third book,
no, on the third reading of the Da Vinci Code.
oh, yeah, this is the third reading going on right now.
Okay. And has your perspective changed by now?
Yes.
Mm,
Vastly improved. So
okay.
I've always said Angels and Demons is the best one, and the Da Vinci Code doesn't even compare. I still think the Da Vinci Code doesn't compare, but it's not as horrible, nearly as horrible as I remember.
Interesting. Yeah, there are a lot of people. In fact, when I read Da Vinci, there were so, of course, there's a fandom out there. So a
Mm.
lot of that fandom came back and told me that that is not the one you should have started with. You should have started with Angels and Demons because it is
Yeah,
way better. But
yeah,
I,
Angels and Demons is still the best one to me.
yeah. Okay, next one. Took a shower without adjusting the knobs in the past week.
No, I
Yeah.
always no, I always go as hot as I can take it in the beginning, and then I keep tapering it down.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Next one. Took up a new hobby or did something creative.
Mm, I mean, yes, but not well. So my problem is with the guitar. I can theoretically I can play the guitar, but my problem is switching chords because every time I switch chords, I have to because I have these huge fingers. Look at them. They're not. I mean, they're not small, thin, nimble, and sharp.
Okay.
And I keep muting the adjacent strings by accident, so I have to adjust my finger every time. And then when I have to change chords, I lift my fingers and then I have to go through this entire mental rigmarole of what was that chord, where do I place it correctly, and by the time the beat of the song has passed completely. So
Okay.
there is one song that I'm learning right now, and I mean I'm making progress, but it's still not good.
But you are doing something creative, which is what counts. Yes. Okay, next one. Heard a song you forgot you loved.
Hmm. I I'm trying to remember this exact name, but I don't think I can remember the exact name. Uh, so there's this. Okay, so I sometimes go down Bollywood song rigmaroles, rabbit holes, sorry, rabbit holes where I keep listening to old Hindi songs, and I'm on YouTube Music, and I always start with one song, and then I don't know what's coming after that song. So it's always random. And this one song came up, Kajrare,
Hmm.
from the movie Bunty and Bubbly. I haven't watched the movie, but I remember I used to listen to Kajrare, I mean, obsessively. And then I saw, as a teenager, I saw the music video years after I listened to the song. And I think by that time, Shwarya Rai was already married to Abhishek Bachchan. And in the song, she's trying to seduce Amitabh Bachchan, who is her father-in-law. So now is her father-in-law, while Abhishek Bachchan pines after her. So that's one song I've rediscovered recently.
Okay, interesting. Okay, next one. Found an old note or photo.
An old note, yes. So yeah, from college. I think it was just jottings from a lecture, but I was looking for specific these earphones. I lost a bud. I mean the bud, not the whole earphone. So I was looking for my spare collection of buds, and I happened to look into the backpack I used to take to college all those years ago, and I found a lecture notes from a lecture that I couldn't decipher because back then I used to write in shorthand, and I've forgotten what I what the rules were. So
Okay,
that's one.
interesting. Okay, nice. That must have been a nostalgia view for you, right? I mean,
Oh no, I hated my college.
oh,
If I could, I'd burn that place alive.
okay, interesting. Next one. Spotted a rainbow in the past year.
Not in the past year,
No.
many years ago.
Okay, okay. Next one. Had a random idea that sparked joy.
Hmm. I won't say joy, but that creative spark where you finally figured something out in the story.
Yeah.
Uh, that spark. It's not exactly joy. It's more like eureka.
Yeah, so it's like a breakthrough. Yes, I totally understand
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay, next
Uh,
one. Took yourself on a date or day out?
on my birthday, mm,
Oh, nice.
which was 26th February, so I went to a bookstore nearby and bought four more books, which I mean, my to read pile is right there, and there are about 30 or 40 books I have yet to read, and I bought
Very good.
more for myself.
That's very
But
less actually. If that makes you feel better, that's very
yeah, so I bought a book called Zen. It's by Shunio something. I've forgotten his last name. But it's called Zen Secrets to a Happy Life or something like that.
okay.
So the author is a Zen Buddhist monk,
Okay.
Japanese Zen Buddhist monk, and he shared uh, around 100 100 pieces of wisdom to live a simple life. Like
Okay.
I read 3 or 4 days ago that Zen monks, when they return home, they line up their shoes neatly, and that gives them a sense of structure in their lives. And
Okay.
I always, whenever I return home, I just kick my shoes off randomly. But now, for the past 3 or 4 days, I have been lining up my shoes properly and neatly, and it does feel more structured. I
Okay.
feel more in control somehow.
Interesting. Okay. Uh, okay. Next one on this is smelled something baking.
Baking, no. Does chicken count?
No. Baking.
Baking is cakes and things. No, no.
No.
Then not baking.
Cakes, cookies, bread, coffee. Maybe if you have been to.
Coffee, yes.
Okay. Next one. Had a good hair day in the past 2 weeks.
I don't really notice or care about my hair, so
Okay.
no,
Interesting.
probably.
Okay. Next one. Popped a bubble wrap.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember what I bought, but something I bought came with bubble wrap, and I have this thing where you also wrote about it in Fitmelt. I remember the specific one.
Yeah.
I also have that thing when I get bubble wrap, I just start popping it, and it's addictive. So,
Okay. Nice. Next one. Ate your comfort food.
what is my comfort food? Well, my comfort food would be pizza, I think. So, yes,
Okay.
I get cravings in the middle of the night, and sometimes I indulge myself by ordering something in.
Interesting. Okay. Next one. Gazed at the moon in silence.
I posted the picture I took of the moon just, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. It was a full moon, and I always have this thing where if it's a full moon, I just stare up at it for minutes on end, and it calms me down. So, yes,
Okay. Interesting. Next one. Bought something that made you giddy.
giddy? Nah, I
No?
don't really get giddy.
Yeah, but you purchased books which made you feel happy, so that counts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. And the last one. Reconnected with an old friend.
reconnected. I mean, there's a friend I haven't spoken to in a year count.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Then yes.
We are also doing this after a long time, so this also counts.
Okay, then definitely yes.
Yeah. I think it's been a couple of years since you were last on the show, so we have reconnected.
Yeah, my output has gotten a little slow recently. I take longer now to write books because, I mean, I put so much more effort into editing now that it takes a while longer.
Mm. Yeah, everyone has their own pace. I have also slowed down. Instead of two, I put out one book a year now. So yeah, I've also paced myself a little slow for the past 2 years now. So yeah,
As
and
long as it works.
exactly. And as long as it makes us happy, and yeah, that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
And you have done well on this bingo. And according to me, this is the ideal way to lead life. So well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have you uploaded that somewhere?
Yes, it's there on my feed. I'll share it with you.
Okay. Share
Yeah.
it. I'd love to see it.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. And I asked this to all the guests. You already know that. So I have to ask you before I let you go. When are you coming up with the next book so I can have you again?
Ideally by December. So December is in this year, December. My next
Okay.
Radha Aditya novel is long overdue now. So I think I wrote Reason to Fight in 2023 or 24,
Hmm.
and it's now 2026. So I have to come up with the second one, and I have all the ideas in my head. So I'll
Okay.
write it out.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. And I hope it comes out this year itself as your goal is, and I can have you again with that particular book. Hopefully, I will also have
Yeah,
another title out by then. So we'll do this again soon.
yeah,
Hopefully,
good,
this calendar year itself. Hopefully,
good. It's fun.
yeah. And I look forward to hosting you. Thank you so much for being my guest. I hope you had a good time. And one last time,
I
I'm
did.
quickly going to. Do you have the paperback of Iraqi? If you can show it to everyone.
Yeah,
Yes, I am also going to show the Kindle
yeah.
covered.
It's a really thin, compact book.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say that this is a short read, so you can maximum 2 hours, not even 2 hours. I think it's a 1 hour read. So go check it out on Amazon, or you can connect to Chandrayan. He will share the book link with you happily. And of course, there is all
Yes.
my book also. If you can check that out also quickly, I'm going to show the cover of that also.
Yeah, it's very good. You should check it out.
This is my book, and previously I showed Chandrayan's book. Go check out both the books on Amazon. or you can connect to us. Both are really good books. I'm not going to praise myself here, of course. Go check out Chandrayan's book. It's a
Yeah, it
thriller
is a
book.
really good book. As in
So,
your book is a really good book. No, I
thank
wasn't
thank you so
referring to
much.
mine.
So go check out both the books, and I'm sure you are going to enjoy them both. I have loved all three books of Chandrayan that he has written so far, and this is equally good.
Thank,
And he
thank
excels
you.
at writing thrillers, and he has done a great job here as well. So go check it out. Bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Always a pleasure. Bye.